Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fortis Impact Talk. On this week's show, we have one of our sisters in arms, Thelma Smith, to talk to us about the importance of training and the empowerment given by doing combatives. Before we go on, please like and share this video. Our instructors are giving away their best tips in order for everyone to be safer out there. And it's a hard conversation to have.
Not everybody can just get on a plane and leave. People just think proactive, just not reactive.
Thelma, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for being here. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Awesome. Thelma, give us a little bit of background. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the combatives? Tell us your story.
Okay. I've been a sort of a tomboy ever since I've grown up. And I love being outdoors. I love being active. I love go hunting. So the one day when my brother told me that he knows this one guy that does combatives in his garage, I had to phone him. And he invited me to join him for the combative classes. And during these classes, I just hear them talking about shooting and going to the range and doing courses. So about after the third class, I got the courage to ask him to please take me to the range. So he did that, and instantly I was hooked. And ever since then, I trained with him, and that's like, I think, 8 years ago. So, yes. So, and I've just kept on loving it. Every time I'm there, I leave with this feeling of satisfaction and growth and empowerment. And that is awesome. And that is what I would love to give back to the women out there.
Right, excellent. Was that the first time that you actually fired a firearm?
No, it wasn't. I've been hunting with my dad, but yeah, that's a rifle. So this was my introduction to pistol shooting.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so you're talking about your passion, sharing. We spoke beforehand about you wanting to share your passion and empowering women. So how do you, let's take my wife for instance. She wants to get into a combative course. How do you get started with this? I mean, ground level. What do you do?
So first things first, you have to set your mind. You have to be willing to fight. If it comes to that point, will you be able to injure another in order to protect yourself or protect someone you love? And if you can answer yes to that, then we can start. So what I do is I take women with not a lot of skill or no knowledge, and we walk them through everything. We will basically do a strip of their firearm. We will go through the function. We will go through how a bullet is, how does that work? There's a primer, there's propellant. And I will explain to them exactly how it works so that they understand it. And that is part of taking the fear away in women with firearms for the first time. Because it's scared, it's a loud noise, it's something that moves in your hand, and you need to understand why it does it and how it works in order to move forward. And then after they understand that, then we go to malfunctions and how you actually use your gun in a gunfight.
Right. Some really valuable stuff then. Okay, but let's get back to the fear part of it. Why do you think there is such a fear in women for firearms? So just take my wife for example. Why do you think that's, and how do you overcome that?
I think most often than not, it might be a fact of how we grew up. Women are soft, and they need to be more vulnerable to things, and men are hard and strong, and they are the protectors, and they are the ones that go out and have to fight. And a woman is more nurturing and caring. So I think that's a paradigm shift mostly that needs to happen. Or it can be something that happened in the past, um, an experience they had with even a story that they heard that frightened them. Um, yeah, so I find that once women actually shoot and start learning and being comfortable, then that fear almost always go away. Then the fun and the inspiration and the power and all of those come into play, and then you grow, then you want to do more and you want to learn more, because it's nice for our women to be able to also handle a firearm and to protect yourself and also outshoot her husband, you know? So
Which
that
is very
happens.
much which is very much the case. I had a conversation with Mark Human last week, and I had the audacity to say that women are better shots than men. Tell me, what I want to know now is, the situation's changed regarding crime. We spoke about it earlier that you can't expect your husband to take on four guys. So the odds are really against families, right? And that's why it's important
Correct.
to empower women to be able to take that stand with the husband and protect their family as a unit.
Absolutely. I mean, these days, like you said, it's more than one attacker. And you never know if they are where they are exactly. Did they split up? Or they all at the door? Or is the one at the window? So, and your husband can't be the sole protector of the whole household, especially if you have children, because he can't look at all the angles plus check where you are, except if you have trained it. But if you have trained it, then I would strongly urge you to get a firearm and to be able to protect yourself and your children. Say, for instance, by the unfortunate event that he got shot, what are you going to do? Are you going to become victim, or are you going to be able to pick something up and fight back? It doesn't need to be necessarily a big thing. It doesn't need to be a shotgun or an AR. It can be a pistol, but it doesn't need to be a pistol. You can go for a gas gun. I have experience with gas guns also, and they are potent. They don't need to be the only weapon that you have, but at least it's something. And if a woman can start somewhere and train, then going forward together with her husband, and also maybe teach the children, teach them where to go or where to stay in your configuration, go through the house, work it out. Yes, it won't always, well, it will actually never go the way you train, but at least you went through certain scenarios and you know what to do and you know what not to do, because sometimes that's also important. If you know what not to do, rather than just doing things without even thinking about it. Yeah, so I would suggest definitely, if you can, teamwork, go through it, but first get the women comfortable and competent with a firearm, whichever one it is.
What kind of firearm would you suggest for a lady?
That is a very difficult question for me to answer, because I don't think there's a one size fits all answer in this, especially with ladies. We are built differently than men, and we are even built vastly different from each other. So you need to look at the purpose of your firearm. Are you going to carry it 24/7, or are you going to use it only to defend yourself when you go out, or only to defend yourself when you are in home? So look at the purpose for your gun. And then I would also take into consideration your environment, your living environment. Is it in the city? Is it in a flat? Is it on a farm? Is it where it is? That is also going to define what is going to suit you or not suit you. And also then what I would do is I would encourage ladies to go shoot. Go shoot with as many firearms as you can, especially pistols, if that is what you want to carry. So go out and shoot. Go out and shoot again, because I can promise you by the third time it's going to be different from the first time that you went out. So that is what I would suggest when you think about getting a firearm to protect yourself.
If you haven't tested it physically, you wouldn't know what's going to suit you.
You wouldn't know what's going to suit you. And it needs to be comfortable for you, and you need to be able to handle your gun. If it's too big, you're not going to want to shoot it and you're not going to want to carry it. But if it's too small, the recoil is a lot. And you have to think about your capacity. Except if you can do very, very fast reloads, then you can maybe take but your smaller is not always better.
Is it?
No.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the effect of. You've probably seen a lot of ladies take that first shot with the firearm, and just because I've witnessed it for myself. They obviously the body language and everything. They're very scared, but once they pull that trigger, there's something changes. Tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely. It is. It it is it is mind blowing when you go through a course with them, even a 3 hour course, from when you take them from the start till the finish, where they end. They are, I don't know what's the English word, but they are sprankelend and vrolijk and confident,
Yes.
And there's something about the smell of gunpowder. I don't know what that is. But the change is huge. The change is huge. If you can go through the first few shots and help them through that, then the growth that they experience is exponential, and it makes me happy. It makes me so happy to see that in especially women.
Yes.
Yes.
We once had this scenario of a woman who went through a lot of abuse, and she came for a little bit of a self-defense class. In your experience, is it a good idea for someone who's been through trauma and been through an attack, if you will, survived an attack, got injured, and it sort of left them deflated, depowered, if you can say it like that. Would you definitely recommend them to take the steps, get the mindset right, and come and do some of these classes to empower themselves?
Absolutely, I would. But before you do that, I would suggest to go see someone or speak to someone to make sure that you go through the steps and through the anger and through the grief and through everything, where you accept it and you are ready to make a better life for yourself, and where you can say for yourself, never again. I will do everything in my power to let this never ever happen to me again. And then you go for it. Once you are there, then you go for it. And start anywhere. Start with normal combatives. Start with firearms. Start with knife. Start with stick even. Start with a pen. But first get your mind to a safe space before you engage. Otherwise, I think it might be a risk for the person or anyone else. But also I have found that if I do carry, in the beginning, obviously I didn't carry every day. So if I do carry, I'm a lot more calm. So I don't let a taxi that necessarily cuts right in front of me upset me that much. I'm far more reserved and let things go because I know that I have a power tool on me and I can use it in a second. So that is what I would suggest.
Yes, that's amazing because you said the word power tool. So you actually it's like a superpower that you have with you because you know if something goes down, then you can take care of it
You
because you've
can.
had the training and you have the right
Exactly.
mindset.
Precisely. Yes. Yes.
Tell me, has anything happened to you in your 8 years of experience? Have you ever had a personal experience being attacked, or you really had to actually use your skills?
No, I haven't. And I'm very fortunate to be able to say that. And I think a lot of that has to do with being aware, because that is your first and furthest um, a skill that you can put in your bucket. If you are aware and you look and you see what people do and where they are and how they move and where their hands are, um, that is your first indication that something is wrong. So if something looks off, it normally is. And then you move away and you get away as quick and as fast as you can. Obviously, if you can avoid an attack, then you have won. That is the number one that you can get. I have once been in a parking lot after I've done shopping, and I saw three people walking towards me, but I was very uneasy. And I immediately dropped what I had. I climbed into my car and I drove away. And afterwards, I contacted Orno about it. And I realized that you don't have to know whether it was an actual attack or not. But the fact that I got away, that is the win for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And we can't stress this enough how important it is to have the training so that you become aware and
exactly.
avoid the situations, avoid the dangerous situations that you hope you'll never be in.
You'll never
Because
be in. Yes.
the thing is, even if you have a fire on you that day, it's still a 50-50 if you're going to get out alive.
Precisely. I mean, y they could take you from the back. I could have been putting my shopping bags into my boot and they could have attacked me from the back. Luckily, I had training. So I kind of went through what I can do to try and get away and then draw my gun as fast as I can. But yes, being aware and having the training, that is the most important thing because it doesn't help you have any kind of weapon if you don't have training and you don't know how to utilize it. Yes.
That's it's so important. It's so important. But it's wonderful to hear that someone like yourself is really focused on empowering women, because that's a thing that I don't think we talk about enough. Um,
Mm.
how many ladies do you have in your classes on a weekend?
So it differs. Sometimes it's only six, sometimes it's 12. I prefer, if it's real beginners, to be less for personal attention. Any questions that I have, I can answer. We sometimes have group discussions and we laugh a lot, and we all ask questions that we will never ask if it was a big crowd or if there's men with them or their husbands. So it's normally small groups, but it depends on the group and the demand that I have. Yes.
How busy are you?
We were quite busy before the lockdown,
Yeah, of
but
course.
yes. So
But that's wonderful to hear. The reason I'm asking that question is I want to get a notion of how many women are actually interested in doing these courses. And it sounds to me like there's really it's really become it's something that's picked up momentum over time, and more and
absolutely,
more.
Absolutely, yes, because once women do it and they feel inspired and they get the love for the gun or anything combatives, it doesn't really matter what it is, then they speak to their women friends and they want to come. Of course they want to experience it. We love to do things that make us feel good, and it's a bonus that we can actually use it to protect ourselves or our families.
As
So it definitely picks up momentum, and that is fantastic. I mean, even if we can
yes,
start at the bottom and take them through a whole thing, it doesn't matter, then we take them through knives and through sticks and through shotguns and through ARs and hopefully through a 3006 to go hunting or something.
Yes.
What an experience to have a woman afraid of guns, ending up going hunting and provide for her family, never mind protect her family. You know, how
Wow.
awesome would that be?
Yes. That's amazing. So there's really because there's a lot of interest in it. Can I say? And
Yeah,
it's wonderful to hear because the crime statistics. We don't have to quote any of that, but we all know what the situation is, and the fact that people are waking up and literally think, I need to take responsibility for my family's life.
definitely, definitely, yes. Don't be a victim. Um, Empower yourself.
Absolutely, it's so important. And the thing is, you spoke about the awareness, and that applies in everyday life, and especially I always feel that women or the mothers go dropping off the kids at school. It always seems to me like such a vulnerable scenario, because let's say you're dropping off three kids at school. You have to get their bags out. It's absolute chaos, and that moment is a perfect moment for an attacker to take advantage of someone's distraction. So it's wonderful to hear that there's so many women that's already taking that first step and getting the mindset right and empowering
Ab-
themselves.
Absolutely, yes. And a lot of women really aren't aware of what's going on. I would see women when I drive and stop. I would see them next to me on their cell phones. And then I want to hoot at them and wake them up. Um, Women really needs to put that thing away and focus. If you are outside, you have to focus on what's going on around you, what doesn't look right, and then you have to act according to that and teach that to your children. That's not hard to teach them, soft skills like that. So I think it's a at the end of the day, it can be a whole family experience, where you grow together, learn together, have fun together, make mistakes together, you know. So instill the awareness in everybody that's in your household. I think that is very, very important.
Yes, as you said, it's soft skills, and it's something that can be easily transcended to your children and your family environment. Because I think it becomes really important then that once you are in an attack scenario, that everyone they know what to do in that
Precisely.
specific scenario.
Precisely. Yes, and you will not know what to do unless you have at least thought about it. You have to
Yes.
entertain the thought and go through possible solutions for that. It just makes it so much quicker for you to react to whatever is happening. But also realize that you do need to see what's going on. You can't just act on whatever you have practiced. You have to be able to adapt your skills in order to come out alive.
What kind of just for a last question regarding general fitness and those kinds of things? What what what
Yes.
what do you what do you what do you what is your take on that?
Okay. So um, you have to you have to put in effort. You have to at least be able to run a few laps or swim, or you don't need to always do the hardcore stuff, but you have to do something, and you have to do running or high tempo interval training, or combine that with weights or even push-ups or sit-ups, combine that with lunges or squats or running up and down, getting your breath. What helps for your breathing a lot is swimming. It's incredible, since I've started swimming, how much it's easier to do more without feeling out of breath. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, you got extra lung capacity.
You do, definitely. And also, I really, really believe that you should do some kind of mobility training. And that will be like stretching or yoga or Pilates, or because you can't only be strong, you need to be flexible. If you're strong without being flexible, you break. If you're flexible without being strong, you break. So I believe you have to do all of those in combination in order to be really fit, not only fit for combatives, but fit for life. And it will be a bonus if you can take 5 minutes out of your day just to sit still and to be grateful, and to really be at peace. And if you have all of those, I mean, that is a winning combination for anyone.
True.
So that is
True.
what I would, yes.
That's very good. That's very good. But I think some people might find it very intimidating to, oh, now I have to go join a boxing class or anything like that. But would you say that it's just start somewhere and build it up from there?
I have a yes and a no on that one.
All right.
So yes, if it is this big intimidation thing, start doing things in and around your house. Do squats with a bag of rice, or get yourself a skipping rope and do jumps or something. Just get going, and once you get going, you would want to do more. You really want to do more.
Yes.
And then the second part of the question is, don't just go to any trainer or any instructor. Go to someone that knows what they are doing, that has experience in it. They need to be trustworthy. So no, don't just go to any, say, gym, CrossFit class or anything. Go to someone that can actually teach you something that's valuable. You don't want a false sense of security. You want something that is real and that you can really rely on and go back to, and that will get you through whatever you need at that point.
Excellent answer. Thalmarie, I see we are out of time. I just want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us and adding so much value. I think it's such an important topic, and we definitely need to discuss it again.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you, and thanks for your time. I really appreciate this, and I had lots of fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Thalmarie.